Yeah. So,
Coming up.
I just want to shake some sense into you kids.
Good old Mr. D.
Look at this sky, look at this world, look at the boys, look at the girls.
Sneaky dinky doo dah morning.
Morning.
okay, just kidding. I'm not going to run it. You guys hated it so much last time.
What was that?
It's from some, what's it, like cannibal nudist camp or something. It's some bizarre, one of those weird movies from the 80s. I've never seen the whole thing, but that song is infamous, and I played it. I think Kat and I did a stream on Sunday, and there was rage. It was only 3 minutes long, but we were getting all sorts of complaints about how annoying it was.
If you really want to know, people play the Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy song.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I used to, because we had so many homeless people that would like run up and stick their hands inside your vehicle asking for change where I live. I found out how to keep them away. On my way home, I'd play the song Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy and smile as wide as I could the whole time I'm at the stoplight. They just go right by me.
Awesome.
Yeah, because nature's do not touch me sign. Oh man, anything on the agenda for tonight, or while we wait for Janelle, or just random stuff?
I think just random stuff. I was hoping to announce the game update at some point when we get more people here, but well, here we go. I guess there's the topic.
There's the topic, the game update.
Oh no, George. Oh. Can we have any feedback from Ralt regarding the D&D new license agreement?
Okay.
Well, there we go.
I've read the Gizmo article, and there are emails going out to creators, especially those who made decent money in the past. And I read over their agreement, and my first thing was LOL no. Number one, they're trying to claim the OGL 1.0 is superseded by the 1.1 agreement. The thing about the OGL 1.0 agreement is it's ironclad and cannot be revoked. Here's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say in order to release stuff, everything from YouTube videos of you playing to third-party products to even dice for D&D 6.6 edition, which everybody's calling D&Done, you have to upgrade to the OGL 1.1. Now, they can do that. But they're trying to say, oh, you have to be in compliance with 1.1 if you want to release your old Die 20 stuff. And my reply to them was, LOL, no, because this is an egregious overreach to the point where they're saying you can't even come up with a gay little song and do a stupid little pantomime dance on your YouTube channel without asking them. And it used to be the OGL was just, you didn't have to pay a license. You didn't have to pay a fee. When I got into it, you didn't have to do anything. You didn't even have to let them know. And I was deep enough into it that I'm one of the few third-party product producers that had permission to produce Forgotten Realms material and use Forgotten Realms stuff in my stuff. I've still got that email. I printed that email out. But they want to say that fan creations are under strict, very, very strict supervision this time. And here's where it really comes from. Paizo came out with Starfinder and Pathfinder 1 and Pathfinder 2, and he built it into a huge empire. I remember back when he was posting on, me and him were posting on Endworld arguing over orcs. And other companies have released their stuff for Die 20, tons of Die 20 stuff, tons of 5th edition stuff. And they see these Kickstarters. I mean, some of these Kickstarters have pulled in like $1 million.
No.
And what is it? Critical Role pulls in something like $1 or $2 million a month. And then you have all the merchandise that some of these bigger companies are getting. Like Paizo makes a ton off of their little figurines and their other merchandise. Hell, I've got a little goblin plushie around here somewhere, because those things are so funny. And the new person in charge of D&D, she is, I can't remember her name, but she was brought in from Microsoft, from the Xbox and the Xbox One division, and she's an expert at monetization and making everybody pay for stuff. And at a recent Hasbro stockholders meeting, she promised the stockholders that she was going to monetize D&D to the ground. So what you're seeing is they're trying to grab total control. They want a piece of all this money. Roll20 and Virtual Tabletop bring in millions of dollars a month. And Wizards is mad because they don't see a dime of this, which is why Virtual Tabletops, tokens, icons, digital maps, all of it is tightly controlled by this new OGL. The new OGL says that you can only make and produce something that are in static electronic form, meaning no auto-calculating PDFs, no adjustable PDFs, or print. So right there, they're trying to squeeze out the big boys. Any Kickstarter that pulls in any amount of money, especially the expert tier, which is $750,000 or more, they have to pay Wizards 20 to 25% of the gross that they pulled in. And it states there right now that you owe Wizards money even if your Kickstarter goes bankrupt and loses money. This is all about money. This is all about control. It's absolutely ridiculous. And if you don't want to have to worry about it, do not agree to the OGL 1.1. Tell them, eat a big dick, OGL 1.0 for life. Because there's jack and shit they can do about it. And how do I know about this? Because back when the OGL 1.0 came out, my wife gritted her teeth and let me spend about $2,000 to go see a lawyer. And then a bunch of us kicked in more money to have a copyright and trademark lawyer break it all down for us. The 1.0 is ironclad. Now, Wizards has been adjusting stuff in the background via the STL, the standards and trade license. I can't remember it, but anyway, basically your standards and practices. And they have been adjusting stuff since Anthony Valterra put out the Book of Erotic Fantasy. And then they've been changing stuff. And one of the big things is that Wizards will not allow bigoted, discriminatory, racism, or anything else in the products. Now, there's been inquiries. Does that mean that I can't have elves that are racist toward orcs? No, you can't. You can't, because they're basically getting rid of your alignment is this because you grew up in this society and or this species or this race or this subphenotype. They're getting rid of that. Wood elves are no longer, high elves are no longer racist and bigoted toward the grub eating, bark wearing tree elves. They're getting rid of all this. Let's not forget transphobic is listed right there. And somebody asked not too long ago, is it transphobic to say that trans people don't exist in my setting because if you were born in the wrong body, the gods fix it? And they were told, yes, it's transphobic because it erases trans people. And it's like, but wait, it doesn't. They just don't have to go through painful surgeries and instantly become. But anyway, Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro got involved in all of this. From orcs are racist. And I'm sorry, if you look at an orc and the first thing that goes through your mind is black person, you're a fucking racist, okay? And there's guys in the KKK that tell you to slow your roll. If you look at a goblin, because Pathfinder goblins look nothing like Jews, okay? I mean,
Wait, goblins are Jews? That's what they're saying?
Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Jesus!
They're saying that. I mean, that's the whole thing.
About that.
The whole reason they're saying that is because of the J.K. Rowling,
right. But they're trying to put it. They're trying to put it on Pathfinder and D&D, where goblins don't look like that. I mean, if they do, they're green and have a long nose and stringy black hair, like from oh God, what's the one with the unicorn and Legend? Yeah, Legend. They might look like Legend goblins, or they're the football-headed pyromaniacs from Pathfinder. I'm sorry, I don't look at them and see Jew. If you do, you might be a racist. And then they're like, dwarves are Jews. Tolkien said so. And it's like, no, he did not. He said that dwarves and Jews have...
Wait, where the fuck did they get Tolkien said that dwarves are Jews?
Because he said that, like the Jews, dwarves have both their own language and adopt the language of the community they live in or near.
That's an example, not...
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy shit! So okay, I can tell you
Tolkien
where they got the
hated
Jew idea
allegory.
from because they have riches too.
And here's the other thing: Drow are black people, and it's like no, Drow are dark purple or ebony black. They're not black people. If you look at a Drow and see a black person, you might be a racist.
I
And then
mean,
it's like,
if you read the whole like the creation of the the Nordic mythology and cosmology, then the dark creatures, the dark elves, came from the maggots of Ymir.
yeah. And then you get into the fact that they were posting pictures of scantily clad Drow sorceresses and priestesses and go, oh, see, it's just sexualizing black women. Well, you can always tell who never played D&D. Because if your party of ninth level adventurers comes around the corner and there's some drow woman standing in the path and she's wearing spider's web on her crotch and nipples and has a whip, you're fucking dead. You're all dead. Because number one, she's a fighter, magic user, cleric, and she's surrounded by drow you haven't seen yet. She wears that because she is showing off that she doesn't need armor. She's one of those chosen. She doesn't need anything like armor. Armor are for weak people.
Yeah, you're about to get paralyzed and eaten by driders.
Yeah, driders, or there's like 50 drow in the trees. And it's like, holy shit. It's all this reach. And so by having all this controversy for the last 2 years, and then they say you can't have bigoted or racist or anything, basically they're gutting you. And I've already told them, you can bring it on. You might want to remember who you're dealing with.
They are. This is none of. They don't care about any of that. You know who they're gunning for? Critical Role.
They're gunning for Critical Role, Roll20, Virtual Tabletop, Hero Lab, and there's a few other ones that bring in like millions of dollars a year.
Yeah, but it's mostly like they want the prettier people that play D&D that are super liberal.
And the other thing is they're after Paizo.
And a lot of people think that there's something coming. There's some sort of like second like gate coming from like Portland or California or some other crap because there's just a lot of rumbling on that side.
Gate? Well, who cares?
Like D&D gate, comics gate, whatever gate.
Yeah, a drow cleric makes Rosette think twice because especially if you go by the old first or second edition rules, a drow cleric was a nightmare. I mean, they were just absolutely nightmares. And they don't look at this and they depower them. And I'm sorry, if you can't see the sheer power this woman has, that she's standing there wearing nipple caps and like part of a thong going, you're all dead. Give me your stuff.
One thing I liked about Cowboy Girl when other writers were at the wheel was, I think the why are you wearing that outfit got addressed once, and it was because I can.
Yeah.
It's like bullets. I'm impervious to bullets. I can fly into the sun. I can.
I can go out there with pasties and nobody can do anything to me.
I want to see that now.
The other thing is a lot of these people that are doing all the screaming don't realize that every woman. I mean, not every woman is like them. I have met women that love the red Sonia, I'm wearing a chainmail bikini, or maybe I'm just wearing a chainmail thong and have my tits out as a power fantasy.
Oh, I married that woman.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get a good look at the woman making decisions here. Cynthia Williams. Now, this is the woman. Does this look like a hardcore D&D player to you?
She's got a sunburn.
Looks like a wine mom.
Yes.
She's got a sunburn. And like I said, she's from the Xbox One monetary division.
No.
Of course.
I mean, and I know about
those, like accountants became a geek.
Yeah, she's not a geek. She absolutely looks at the D&D players with disdain. The players, what she likes is the people who buy the Funko Pops, the T-shirts, the little bullshit plastic stuff that's going to end up in a landfill. She likes them because they spend tons of money. And there's rumors. Now, I've heard rumors from people in the industry that apparently Wizards is going to come out with their own virtual tabletop.
They already have.
Well, no, it's going to be big time, as in you're not supposed to play without it. And it's like, wait, what? I heard there's a virtual tabletop.
D&D Beyond basically is that, but
still a trash fire.
Is this what we were talking about on Saturday? Ralts, when you and I were oh fuck, I didn't realize it was that in depth. Holy shit.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, she's coming from a like a computer, programming kind of background. You know what I mean? So she's gonna move into like one of the first things. If you read the new OGL, like it's very obvious that they think it's antiquated and barbaric, and that it is not. It was not made, and I think that's how they're trying to get around it. That's the reason why they use that language. Is they're saying, hey, in perpetuity didn't count for this stuff because it didn't exist.
Yes. And actually, I actually told, they were like, virtual tabletops didn't exist. And I was like, yes, they did. Character creators didn't exist. Yes, they did. You know, it's like, they don't get it that as soon as, I mean, we had virtual tabletops up and running. They were crude, but we were using them as far back as 1985 on dial-up BBSs.
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, you had virtual tabletops and stuff for even the those like play by text kind of things, Yeah, I can't remember what they were called.
Mud,
like text Mud. There you
go.
Mud.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, it didn't count for computer games because computer games MMOs were out there. And it's like, I'm sorry, the first D&D MMO is actually AOL's Neverwinter.
Yeah, I remember that. You couldn't even pick. You had to like, if you wanted to pick outside specific races, you had to like reach out to an administrator and get their approval.
Yeah, and it was terrible. It was terrible because your character would get killed by a goblin and you have to make a new one.
Yeah,
it was absolutely terrible.
Like you take 2 weeks to make an Azamar, you walk into a game of Cobalt, get a lucky hit, and you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, they're like, oh, MMOs didn't exist. It's like, I can remember hanging out in the tavern with like 20 other people with my crappy little sprite and all of us just chatting. It's like, MMOs existed.
But again, like, she's like, Web 3.0 didn't exist then, and this and that, and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, I can see what you're doing.
Yeah. And they want to monetize it all. They want to keep everybody on microtransaction and D&D as a service.
Well,
and D&D is a lifestyle brand.
What was it? Like I was telling these other guys, and they were surprised that Critical Role when they put out their Kickstarter for animation to get their first cartoon, it went to 8 million in 2 days.
Yeah, and and Wizards of the Coast wants 20 to 25% of that.
Yep.
Oh, are you kidding me? I mean, I'm not a fan of Critical Role, but it put D&D on the map.
It's worse
for
than
the
that.
mainstream.
Oh, it's worse than that. They not only want 25% of what you have, even if they don't take 25% of what you got, if you have a good idea, if you use their license at all, you have to register yourself on their site. And if they want to use your idea, they can.
They can take it
in any way they want to, and you have nothing to say about it.
Yeah, and see, I was informed because I made a lot of products back in the day. I mean, a lot. And some of my work was actually included in the Forgotten Realms books and in some of the Wizards of the Coast publications. And it's like, no, you're not taking my intellectual property. I'm not going to turn over everything because they want to make it retroactive. And by doing that, here's the thing: by doing that, they get Paizo, they get Pathfinder, they get Roll20, they get Critical Role, they get everything. Now, here's the funny thing. Here's the hilarious thing. Is some people are going, well, the Knights of the Old Republic game that was put out by a corporation owned by Disney now uses Die 20 Modern and Die 20 Future rules. Are you saying that Disney has to turn over all Star Wars properties to you now?
Yeah, at this point they might try it.
True, but it's that ridiculous. It's if you do something with our license, you have to turn over the rights to it, including books, novels, manga, comic books, cartoons, web series, lit RPG. They want a piece of that.
Okay, so anyone who does a fantasy lit RPG is at risk of Wizards of the Coast coming after them.
It's only if you use the OGL license or whatever. Like if you claim D&D, if you claim any part of their IP, they're saying they have complete control of yours.
But we know how it's going to go because they're going to try to claim that hit points and armor class are only theirs. because we've had this argument before.
They'll never
we
make
had
that. They'll never get that to stick.
They have already tried that.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm
they
saying.
Tried
though.
it in
they
the 80s. They tried it in the 80s. They tried it in the 90s. They'll try it again.
That doesn't seem to be where they're going. I don't think they're going to go there. What she's going to say is she's going to say all the D&D and the new technology, like YouTube didn't exist. So she's going to say all the D&D and YouTube is mine now. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Isn't it so much better now that women are running things?
See, teaching women to read was a mistake. Teaching
women
to read was a mistake.
Now.
I saw this great GIF today. I was like, my wife asked me, what's a female version of a man cave? And he said, the kitchen.
Yeah. you let your wife speak? What's wrong with you? What's funny is we were watching something and my wife actually looked at me and said, see, this is why teaching women to read was a mistake. I was like, Jesus, honey.
The sandwich. Be quiet. This is all that whole OGL thing is so stupid. They're gonna ruin their entire hobby. All that's gonna happen is it's gonna create a grayer diaspora than even there was like after TSR.
Now here's the thing: Kevin Simbita's riffs has not changed since the 1980s. It's the same goddamn game. I mean, people accused him of doing a little bit of politics with the Republicans in Revised Sourcebook 1. He said, no, they don't mean Republicans as the political party. They mean Republicans as those who uphold the Republic. Oh, okay. And see, with him, we would believe him because he's that much of a spurg. I love the guy. He's great, but holy shit, man.
I mean, I wrote for a lot of like Dragon Magazine. And I wrote for some settings books like a long time ago, like when I was in college and a little bit after. And I don't really care what they do with that IP, honestly, but because it was just sort of things I wrote to connect to other stuff or to be generic.
I care about the IP I put out there because now I have books that involve some of that IP, and yeah, I'll fight over it.
I would fight over like. Anything to do with mine, like Sins of the Fae or Sway or, Rain, anything like that, I would. But like the stuff that I made for them, I made like, I don't know, different unicorns and dragon gods, and I wrote stories.
You're the one that did the unicorn article? I should kick you down the stairs.
I did. It was like, oh God, what was it? It was like Pegasi and unicorn. I made 7 different unicorns and 7 different Pegasi.
Yes, I remember that one. Because I got, please, can I have one of these? No. I'm a paladin. No. Oh, that thing was the bane of my existence for like 2 years.
I thought it was fun.
How did you feel about anti-paladins?
Anti-paladins? How did we what?
How did you feel about anti-paladins?
Are those called Oathbreakers now or whatever?
They're Oathbreakers. Well, originally it was anti-paladins, and it's all the way back from like an 83.
Blackguard, wasn't it? That was the first, I think.
No. Anti-Paladin came out in 83 in a Dragon magazine and had some boss-ass artwork. And I didn't really use them because I didn't allow them to play our characters, but they made amazing villains. And then 3.0 it came out, and Blackguard was in the DMG. That's where you're getting Blackguard from. That's a 3.0 thing.
That was like D&D, like one of the Arcanas or something.
No.
The original
Anti-Paladin.
The original anti-paladin, the idea was the paladin was essentially a holy knight. So this was like the anti-holy knight or the unholy knight.
It was the unholy knight. So these guys were
basically the anti-paladin or the paladin was like in first dungeon, like in the first advanced Dungeons and Dragons. That was the one I had. Yeah, was basically an errand boy.
Really? Because I never played one like that, and I started playing in '79.
He was.
They were basically an errand boy for the church. Yeah.
I had a paladin of strife, and this noble lady was giving him shit in one game, and I grabbed her and threw her through a fucking window, and everybody looked at me. I'm like, "What? I'm a paladin of strife. Now she has strife in her life." And the DM stared at me for a second, and goes, "You know what? I'm gonna allow it."
Fenestrated the local.
Well, she shouldn't have gotten on me. And when the Blackguards came out, we thought it was great for my campaign setting because every church had 3 aspects. It had its good aspect, its neutral aspect, its evil aspect. And we had this funny byplay between the Paladin and the Blackguard player. The Paladin would be like, I sense evil nearby, and the Blackguard would be like, that's me, you idiot. I mean,
I had a Paladin. It was funny because I had this Paladin, and he just like, I gave him this trait that he could not tell a lie.
Oh, Jesus.
And so we had the thief, and the thief would I remember because it was hilarious. Like, we're running through this field, and the thief decided to move silently in a huge open field. And my paladin went, "Look, he's not making a sound."
Oh, jeez. I remember back in the paladin days, you couldn't have more than 10 magic items, and we actually had to ask, does a quiver full of arrows count as one magic item or 20 magic items? And they eventually settled it with a bow and a quiver full of arrows is one magic item. Horseshoes on your horse is one magic item. Because there was dickhead DMs back in the day. They'd be like, "Oh, plate mail's made up."
And that was when you leveled past 10, you got all these followers. So you just gave them your hand-me-downs. They were like little brothers.
Oh yeah. It was like, well, I found a +3 sword in the dungeon. Here, henchman, you can have it.
Yeah. It's like, well, the Holy Obliterator is much better. So
well, one of the problems with 3.0 is they got lazy during creation. And they kept moving the hit die up, and it made it so you ended up playing Rocket Tag, and everybody had too many hit points at the higher levels. Because back in the day, the only people that got more than at 9th level, after that,
nine levels of
hit dice,
hit die, and then it was like +1, and that was
+1, and no con bonus unless you were a fighter or a paladin or a ranger. Then you got like +3 and your con, and they got their con bonuses to boot. And max con bonus for non-fighters was +2.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's also in the day when max female strength was 1850, not 1800.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's like 1850 for life.
1800.
Yep, and that was the shit back then. And of course, they got rid of that. They got rid of that.
+3, +6. That's sad that I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, there was nothing like you gave your thief if you found a pair of gauntlets of ogre power, you gave them to the thief because they get like a backstab of ×4, and the dude would be fucked.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
They came out with the kit books.
Oh God, that was 2nd edition. Yeah, that was 2nd edition.
And then it was like it all, man. You could just. That's really when the sort of like Monty Hall kind of playing.
Oh, Monty Hall had been around forever.
Yeah, but you have more choices.
No, it was the min-maxers that really got out of hand.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Marwan has a comment, and I'm curious your take.
What's the comment?
D&D fan base are morons. Even in Revolt, they're still blaming WotC, the middleman, instead of Hasbro.
It's
They they'll
it's
give
Hasbro.
up consumer products. No, Hasbro knows this.
No, they won't. Well, actually, they will because number one, the people that do all the screaming don't buy and they don't play. Oh, there are tons of people who buy the rule books and buy all the bullshit and have never played a game because that would mean being around other people and you don't like.
Yeah, but the Rainbow Coalition doesn't. And even if they do, they're like, what, 6%?
Yeah, but they act like they're everybody. I mean, I left RPGs because of the sheer hypocrisy and stupidity. And because, oh my God, were people dumb. And I mean, some people were real dumb. And I still remember, I asked, why does the 3.5 Dungeon Master's Guide have a definition of door in it? And I was told it's because a large section of the player base would argue over what constitutes a door. And I was
it's
like,
the same reason, like, would you have, what are those stupid signs? You know, like, don't stick your hand in this blender. It may cut it up.
Here's your sign.
Why is that sign there? Because someone did it.
You know, when I was in college, we didn't experiment. I was in electronic engineering. We didn't experiment. And we put a sign on the wall that said, do not touch high voltage, low amperage, may cause bodily harm. And it was a bar that we had run through a step down transformer to drop the amperage and raise up the voltage. And if you grab this bar, it would give you a mild electric shock. And people would walk up and read that sign. Yeah, they read that sign, walk up and grab it. And it would only last for like 5 seconds because we had it on 5x5x5 timer chip. So that sign didn't work. And then we put danger, high voltage may cause bodily harm. People would still walk up and touch it. And we got to the point where it's just a sign of a cartoon guy with his arms blown off. And people would look at it and move away from it. It was like, people are dumb. People are dumb. And we put it in the humanities section. And we turned in our paper, and the teacher was like, I don't know if I should turn you over to the police or give you an A for using your fellow student body as experiments.
Hey, Milgram did it in the 60s.
Yeah. But I mean,
ADMW, it's not too late to get into D&D. Just don't play current D&D.
Don't play the current stuff.
Don't play the current stuff.
I have all the old books because I knew what they were going to do, and sure as shit, about 2 years ago they started doing it.
I still think 3.5 is their pinnacle.
So do I. I didn't like 4E. It was more like a board game. I don't like 5E because it's full of it. I don't like the player base.
5E was made more for like, the improv children. I don't know why the improv children decided to start playing D&D, but they did.
Critical Role.
There was this kid the other day that like I saw like this tweet, and this guy said, he's like, but what about the people like me that want to play, the game to resolve issues of a psychological nature that they normally wouldn't be able to? And I'm like, get a therapist.
Get a fucking therapist. Oh God, you used to get those people in the game all the time wanting to work out their personal problems. And for me, in the late 80s, early 90s, I'd be like, we probably shouldn't play tonight because I got off the phone with my ex-wife and I'm half drunk. And they'd be like, oh, well, this is when the game gets fun. Well, that's the other thing is the new group doesn't like challenges. I found this out the hard way. My games can get pretty down and dirty and ugly toward, in parts of it. And it was one where it was obvious the players were outclassed. I mean, they were way outclassed, and they knew it. And out of the 5 players, 3 of them ran. 3 of them were like, fuck this, my character's out of here. And they're like, I'm like, you're weighed down by your chainmail shirt. And he's like, no, I'm not. I can take that off in 1 round. He left behind a +5 chainmail shirt because it weighed him down, because that's how fast he wanted to move. 2 of the players who were fairly new and had only played Pathfinder before and D&D 5e were like, we're going to stay and fight it because there's always a chance I can roll a crit. And I said, the thing you're facing is a T-Rex that has armor plating on it and 2 kobold witches flying next to it. Are you sure your 3rd level character wants to take on an armored T-Rex? I could roll a natural 20 and win.
Oh, God.
And
I've had some summoners that would probably try it.
I mean, that T-Rex made 2 attack rolls, 1 for each. I mean, come on. When my BAB is +32, what are you doing?
Oof, yeah.
It's like, yep, okay, he bit you and swallowed you.
I'm sorry. I mean, I've been in groups where we've been confronted by something that was just way out of our league. There was a group where they turned a corner in a cave, and holy shit, there's a white dragon sitting there. And they decided to attack it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you really want to. The GM hadn't expected that. I stood back and just watched them get slaughtered. But it's like, if you really want to. But they did it because they knew it was the risk reward, and they thought that the risk was worth the reward. But they were seasoned players who actually legitimately forgot that they were only level 1.
Yeah.
I talked to them later, and they're like, yeah, we forgot.
Well, these 2 actually reported me to the Roll20 admins for being a killer DM.
Oh,
what?
Dear
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, because they didn't have a chance, and their characters were supposed to be heroes, and it was like,
Generation Karen.
Yeah.
Generation Karen, may I speak to your manager, GM?
Oh God, and it's through all the actual generations, because oh my God, I played with people that are my age that throw literal shit fits if their character can't be the bestest ever at everything.
Oh yeah, that's always been there, but I mean the complaining to someone else to do something about you?
Yeah.
Seriously? Come on. I mean, the thing in the 80s was you always got the guy, oh, I can make that roll. Bullshit. Roll a new character, fuckface.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I've played in games where I had asshole GMs that were purposely trying to kill us, and not in the fun way. You know, more in the I'm the god, ha ha ha. And if you actually happen to beat one of their monsters, they get butthurt, and like suddenly, like out of nowhere, like this other awful thing would show up, and it was strictly because they wanted to watch, you suffer.
Yeah.
But
there's some DMs that are really weird. They grow like a contestual relationship between the players and themselves.
Adversarial
So it's
DMing.
yeah,
you know,
I
At
know
least
that
it's not-
happens. Oh, I'm sorry, Jenna.
Oh no, I was just gonna make a funny aside. So at least you don't have a GM that made you roll for your menstrual cycle.
Hey, I did that.
GM that we knew that made you roll for
no, I'm
menstrual
a dude,
cycle
and that would have
dick
been really
size.
weird.
I've had that.
Yeah,
I
that's
did that.
fucking
Bro.
weird.
I did that once, and everybody at the table agreed with it. They accidentally rifted it into Central America, where all the vampires are, and there was like 3 female players, and I was like, because none of you are wearing armor. It's like, what? It's like, shit. Some of you are women, and one of the women goes, okay, how about we have a 10% chance of being on a 30% chance of being on our menstrual cycle? I was like, okay, all right, we'll do that. And nobody rolled it, but I mean, they were all like, yeah, let's do that. And it was like, okay, we have 2 weeks to get out of here before it kicks in, and I don't have any birth control.
I think that's actually one of the rules.
But that's
in one of
rifts.
the-
Okay, yeah, that's rifts though. That's different. The guy I was talking about was a total perv. It was like, roll for breast size, dick size, menstrual cycle, shit like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
those
was-
people.
That
So he
I
wanted
was
to play
trying
like
to,
strip
yeah.
D&D? What was
Seriously?
Yeah.
Let's see, D&D, and then somebody tried to implement Fatal into rifts.
Ew.
Yeah, so no. Yeah, Fatal is, no.
Okay, real quickly, I want an answer to this question too, because the stats are in the bestiary?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or is it
The monster manual?
Yeah, it's in the monster manual.
So in the world of D&D, the dinosaurs didn't go extinct.
Yeah, I want an answer to that.
There are several worlds. It depends on what you're talking about. Like you was talking about the Forgotten Realms, Faerun. There's a certain place where the dinosaurs are.
The jungles. That's the jungles of Chult. And I'm doing this off memory. Oerth, which is Greyhawk, dinosaurs are not extinct. Dark Sun in the jungles, there's some dinosaurs, and it's feral halflings that live out there. Kryn has dinosaurs for the smaller ones. I remember there was an article on it, and I think that's it. In my world, dinosaurs aren't extinct because the one I run for I'm not running it currently, but the one that I've been running since like the 80s, it's 6 different worlds, and humankind, all the demi races and a lot of the humanoid races showed up after the Elder God War, so the worlds were already set down and they migrated there. So it's all fucked up.
Wait, did Dark Sun have dinosaurs, or were those extinct?
Yes, they were in the jungles.
Okay.
I have a funny story. My mom's D&D group, when this one guy's name is Peter, was running his Greyhawk campaign, actually. He had a young son that he had bought a bucket of dinosaurs for as a toy.
Yep.
And they were the perfect size with the little, pewter figures. So that's all the monsters they ever fought for the entire year he ran his campaign was nothing but dinosaurs, because he had this bucket of dinos to pull from. And you actually paint some of them, so you had specific ones that were continually running against and stuff.
Yeah.
They played Jurassic Park,
more like Conan Doyle's Lost World.
Yeah. And then you've got rifts where there's dinosaurs in the swamps.
I mean, the thing that's the most aggravating about this entire process is the fact that they've essentially and ostensibly diminished and diminutized something that was supposed to be completely ubiquitous and made it more parochial than it ever had to be.
Oh, yeah.
The original idea with RPGs was you ran it the way you wanted to.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Whatever your imagination wanted.
Oh, Uncle Gary said that.
I was going to say Gygax, and oh, God, I'm brain farting. The guy that created it with him.
Arneson.
Thank you. They started out as just doing war games, and then decided to try in fantasy. Yeah.
I mean, essentially, the games the games were a long time ago used by West Point, the MIT, the Virginia Military Institute, New Mexico used it. They used the original game because it was a strategy game and it had like very specific, like meters and distances and metrics and time. So they used it for like, plan your assault on this. You know what I mean? Make it fun. It's goblins and kobolds instead of attacking like Cubans because they
Are you
wanted
talking about?
to.
Did they use Blackmore?
Well, no, it's just I don't know. They
Oh,
used
just
the
the
original
okay.
red box of like Dungeons and Dragons, like the original strategy where it was like elf, mage, dwarf.
Okay,
Yeah, that
gotcha.
was the old box. What's funny is, back in the day, a long time ago, we were snowed in for the winter, and our CEO happened to be a fan of BattleTech, and he came up with this plan because he knew it was going to be a bad winter. And he used morale, welfare, and recreation funds to contact the makers of BattleTech and said, "Hey, can we get a bunch of paper figurines and stuff and some stuff on the clan wars?" And the company was really cool and sent us boxes of stuff they had in their warehouse. And over the course of the winter, we refought the coming of the clans for the Inner Sphere to the point where the officers were the clans. And everybody, and the senior NCOs were the judges, and the junior NCOs and the enlisted were all the Inner Sphere. And oh my God, there was fist fights over it.
Wow.
But instead of killing each other, we spent all winter, snowed in with like 20 feet of snow playing BattleTech because it was either that or stare at each other and wonder when your roommate's going to kill you.
Wow, that's amazing.
And shit, I can remember before when I got deployed, I shoved all 3 rule books and a set of dice into my ruck because Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, Monster Manual, barely any weight, and it's enough to keep the back stiff of my ruck. And so
Dungeons
we played
and Dragons
it sitting
was like
there.
a rite of passage almost for the military. Like it was a
Yeah.
lot of the military dudes that or groups that I hung out with were military guys, either on TDY or they lived there or whatever. When I was in San Antonio, especially, and working for BAMC, and they would tell these stories that were just crazy. Like, when they were overseas, like they're in the Middle East or something, and they would all have the same day off, and there would be like a whole day, that they would play like 18 hours and like 20 people.
And you just have a great time. We used to play Ravenloft games. I mean, we get one of us would be on CQ and we'd all sit down there and we'd play Ravenloft till like 3 a.m.
Oh, Ravenloft is so much fun.
Okay, we got a question here.
Oh, go ahead.
Hitman Wanderer asks, for you, Ralt, if in some twist of fate you get hired by a video game company to create a Deathlands video game, what type of game style or genre would you use?
I shoot myself on opening the letter. No, actually, I ran a Deathlands game, and I used oh God, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Son of a bitch. I used i20 Monitor for a little bit, but no, I used something else, and I'm trying to remember what the hell it was. It wasn't Rifts. Actually, if you want to play, I'm going to tell you the truth. Yeah,
I think he's asking more like FPS, RPG.
If I had to, or if you want to play Deathlands, you can go with you can do a mod for Fallout 4 easy.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, I'd use Fallout with some mods because everything from the stickies on up, you could make it so.
Stickies are horrifying.
Oh yeah, so you
What
can make stickies. Stickies have suckers on their hands and feet, and they have mouthful of needle sharp teeth, and you can't hear them coming. And they've got very elastic skin, and their veins close up easily. So if they're injured, so that
and they're very primal, but they function as a tribe, and they're able to their body is so flexible, including their bones, are like rubber. You can have like an inch gap in a door, a steel door, and they'll eventually force themselves through the door.
They're
octopus. And their friends will help them.
Yeah, kinda.
Oh shit! They're like living wall walkers.
And there's the suckers on their hands. They can like touch. There's like a scene where it puts its sucker on a person's face and pulls the face off.
I need to listen to more of Deathlands. Holy shit! That sounds amazingly scary. I love it.
I guess if you wanted to do a one where it was actually Ryan Coddor, or I think that's his name,
Ryan
and
Coddor.
follow his adventure, you could do it using the last Metro game system, but it would have to be a linear story.
I steal a lot of Deathlands from my Rifts games. I also Gamma World 2, Gamma World 3E. It's an old box set. Look it up. It's the old red box set, and it's got, if you can get a copy of it, grab it. I spent $60 to grab a copy because it had the maps intact. And if you're going to play Rifts or any post-apocalyptic games, the city of Pittsburgh and the Allegheny Valley for Rifts is not Rifts, but Gamma World is probably one of the best campaign setting areas for post-apocalypse that's been out there. I mean, I've used Pittsburgh with Rifts Group, and they love it.
Well, Fallout 3 had Pittsburgh. It was the pit.
It wasn't as good. It was not even close to as good as Gamma World 3rd Edition.
Actually, now I want to play
Explain
it
to
because I want
everyone
you
what
to run
Gamma
it so
World
I can
is.
play it.
Gamma World is all the nations on Earth went to war, and some group calling themselves Apocalypse Today warned them all to stop fighting, and they didn't. And this group cut loose with like everything, and the dust settles. And depending on which version you play, it's between 100 and 300 years after the end of the old world. And it went with the 1950s idea of radiation and mutation instead of real life, which makes it a lot more fun. You know, you got mutants out there with laser beam eyes, and, you know, a tribal who can't even read the stop sign, he's using it as a shield, holding a ray gun. You know, it's absolutely just fun. And I started with the first edition where you can accidentally get a terrible character. But it was always fun because it didn't, you know, Gygax and them could have gone full, you know, this is how science actually is. But instead they went with, let's go with 1950s. And Gamma World is a great game.
I'm looking it up right now. So it's a D&D expansion?
It was. Well, initially, no, actually it was.
No, it was its own game.
It was its own game originally. The guy who made the Die 20, he was bragging on N-World all about how he got the Gamma World license. And oh my God, what he came out with was complete fucking garbage, and we mocked him until he fucking left the internet. It was such shit.
Because I'm looking it up right now, and it came up D&D Gamma World expansion, A Legion of Gold.
It was
okay, here we go. Gamma World Game Master's Guide 3.5.
It was originally its own system, and it had instead of magic, there was gamma. And I guess that was where a lot of the weird mutant powers came from. Look at your screen right now. What I'm sharing.
Okay. Oh, see, this looks
all
right.
I played that.
Fun.
I played that back in when it came out, which was like, I don't know, 82 to 84, somewhere in there. I played that, and those chickens fucking raffle stomped two of our guys. But yeah, that's the old 3.0. That's the old 1E. 1E was fun. The Legion of Gold was another one that was absolutely amazing.
Is that lady holding a gaff?
Probably.
No, she's got a stop sign as a shield.
I don't think I've ever seen that as a weapon before. It's listed, but I've never seen it.
Check out dude with his baseball bat. Check out dude with his baseball bat.
Yeah, the guy down there has a baseball bat with nails.
And a shield. Check out his shield.
Trash can lid.
Trash can lid.
And check out the blue dude with the laser gun. And you know he's going to pull the trigger on that and blow his face off.
This is totally the 1980s
yes, William.
Mad Max knockoff films.
Yeah. William asked, is it the one with the guy riding on the giant mutant tiger? Yes, that's 3.0. And that was amazing. I mean, we played the shit out of it. As a matter of fact, I designed a thing because Boot Hill came out too, and Boot Hill Gamma World, that's the one I love. If you can find a copy of this with the maps, grab it.
Yeah, the maps were great. This is the one I remember.
That map of Pittsburgh was amazing.
I love that cover. It's like Rom the Space Knight meets He-Man with Battle Cat.
You're kind of right.
ADMW asks, is it right to assume that most video game plots nowadays are ripped off of a lot of these tabletop RPGs? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that pissed me off. When the Shadowrun computer role-playing game came out, they were bragging about an all-new adventure, right, in Shadowrun. And I load it up and I'm playing it, and I get out of the tutorial area and I get into Seattle proper, and there's a sign there that says, oh crap, I can't remember the name of it. But the sign gave it away of what module they were doing, and I'll be goddamned if it wasn't the module with the insect spirits. And I was like, you have to be kidding me. And I actually said, I want a refund. You said that it was an all-new adventure, and it's not. Oh, the Universal Brotherhood. I was like, the Universal Brotherhood module came out in 1988. I want my money back. And they're like, oh, well, no, because you played it. I was like, yeah, I played it. I paid. I was pissed. And I was mad as fuck. The only reason I own the BattleTech game from the same people is that I got it for free. But yeah, I was pissed off because a lot of companies do take stuff that they think, oh, no one will remember this old module. It's like, motherfucker, I do.
Yeah, this was back when the like box sets looked like like hair metal.
Yes.
Cover.
Show them the original cover to Ravenloft.
Oh God, yes.
What a lot of these
actually.
What a lot of these Johnny Come Latelys don't know is that Ravenloft was originally I6. It was a module, and you used playing cards with it. And oh my God, because a friend of mine was like, I want a chance to DM again. I haven't DM'd in like a year.
All I remember I just remember the intro to Ravenloft, and the intro to Ravenloft was like, "You're not a hero.
Oh yeah,
you'll never be a hero. You're
not
in control.
That's not the original.
Control.
Oh, that's not the original.
That's the original boxed set. No, you're looking for the cover of I6.
Okay.
And we went in there.
It was like the point of Ravenloft is to survive the night.
Survive.
That's it.
And they nerfed Ravenloft so bad. They got rid of the Dark Powers check. They got rid of fear and horror checks. They got rid of insanity checks because, it takes away player agency.
Well, they took most of what was in Ravenloft and they put it in the the abomination rules or whatever.
Yeah, and it was dumb as shit. I mean, I looked at the Ravenloft book in the store and was like, I will never buy this. And there's this guy next to me who goes, why not? That's a great module. I said, because I played the original.
No, the other one was actually it.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
My friends that ran D&D never wanted to play Ravenloft, even though I wanted to, because they said it was fucking stupid and lame. I want to know where these guys who at this time frame in our lives have been playing for 35 years refused to run a Ravenloft game and said, and quote, it was dumb and gay.
If they were playing the new one, it is. But if they're talking about the old one, I can tell you exactly why they didn't want to play it.
Okay.
Because like Buddy Lord said, you're not a hero. You're someone trying to survive one more day.
That is
so. You're just an average
the original
person.
Ravenloft was like 8 separate domains or something.
The original survival horror.
And each one of them had a lord over the domain.
Yes.
The literal control of that lord was anything they wanted in that domain.
It was terrible. Now this is what sprang Ravenloft up. Okay, and it says characters level 6 to 8 characters of level 5 to 7. Me and my friends went into this module fat and happy, and we had been playing for years, and we managed to get into Strahd's castle. He killed us all in the throne room in embarrassing ways.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
No, I don't look at bar one. I don't look at Twitter because Twitter makes you brain damaged. Player agency was removed in the original box set, which, as you showed a little bit ago, when you're DM and you crack open this rules, you just start staring with your mouth open because all of these spells have been altered. Tons of spells have been altered. Raise dead, you're more than likely to get an undead back than your friend. I mean, even detection spells, forget it, they don't work.
Well, I mean, it flat out says they can change your magic to do whatever they want with it. Like that's part of especially Strahd because he's a very powerful magic user. But there's there's a pirate, and the pirate he can literally take his ship anywhere.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be water.
Well, no, let me make a point here. Their whole thing about taking away player agency. If you're playing horror, one of the major themes of horror is you're in fear for your life and you are out of balance and do not have control of your environment.
Right.
You are not safe. you should be scared. That's horror.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I gave people nightmares. I mean, we used to play it up, and I mean, I remember one day I was on a convalescent leave because I'd broken my leg really badly, and my buddy calls up and goes, "Hey, did you see the forecast for tonight?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not watching TV. I'm drinking." And he get "It's going to be foggy. Let's get on and play Ravenloft." I was like, "All right."
Oh.
And we played Ravenloft, and oh man, that Ravenloft campaign ran for like 2.5 years, and it got to the point where the players themselves hated one of the NPCs. This chick that they were facing was such a pain in the ass. She shanked one of the player characters, and runs off, and she's holding something, and they thought it was the doll golem she's always working with. Now, in regular D&D, doll golems aren't sentient. In Ravenloft, yeah, that's Chucky. And they thought it was Chucky. And they catch her right as they go into the market, and the fighter shanks what she's holding, and she drops the blanket to reveal a real baby on the blade. And goes, "My baby, my baby!"
Oh,
because when she went around the corner, she dropped the doll in the dumpster and grabbed out the baby she'd stolen. And everybody was like, and the cleric's player reached over and smacked the fighter's player and went, "You always check with this bitch."
Okay, I have to say that I appreciate my friends in high school introducing me to the D&D world, but holy shit, because of their opinions, I missed out on so fucking much. Like I'm going to make myself broke here shortly, guys. I'm like going through good books and stuff looking for the used shit. I want to play the original Ravenloft now. I feel like I got robbed.
My wife will not play the original Ravenloft because I gave her nightmares.
I'll play.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to depend on the DM and everything. But I mean, I remember running through even just the Ravenloft box set, which was what was really fun is that my DM set it up so that it was like almost like a fantasy world at first. Like we were first level and managed to kill this dragon because we had like 100 soldiers with us, and then it was a whole like elemental sword thing, where you would go to these temples and you do this whole battle with a sword, and then it opens up an element, and we're like, yeah. And then I opened up the fourth element, and it became all shadow, and then all of a sudden like. I didn't know it, but we were in a world of Ravenloft. My character had gone crazy, and everybody started coming. I thought people were undead when they weren't, and I was killing them.
Whoops, that is actually a good. He was doing it good. I mean, my wife already yelled, "I'm not playing Ravenloft."
And then then it was even cool. It was even more just because my character eventually went so nuts they put me in the asylum, and then the whole point was. He had based this entire thing on me as a person. He knew me, and I was like, he's like, yeah, they start putting your friends in the cells, as you go down. And I'm like, I count the cells down that my friends are from me. And he said, you wake up, now you remember where your friends are. And I'm like, what would I have done if I hadn't have remembered? He's like, you'd have been crazy forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to ask my mom if she still has her Ravenloft, her original Ravenloft.
Always go with the second edition AD&D version, and it's going to require some work on the DM's part because he's got to sit down and go through everything and update it for whatever game system you're playing. But if you want to play something challenging where it doesn't matter how many hit points you have, it doesn't matter how tough you think you are. Ravenloft is going to put you in your place. Ravenloft is going to remind you that you are only mortal and there are worse things than death.
Ravenloft, knowing it is not like shonen anime or something. You are not the hero. There is no you are isekai because Ravenloft there are no people that are. Everybody's brought there. Nobody's born there.
Yeah. No, except the commoners. The commoners are.
Okay. But
and the commoners are the most superstitious, violent, ignorant people out there.
But if you
sometimes they're the most deadly thing you run into.
So you are just not. Well, they're used to the Lord being in control. So when you try to usurp the Lord's control, they're like, "What are you doing?"
I had my players had a rule that anybody who came in. And they were like, if you bring an elven character in, you need to crop your ears. If you're a dwarven character, you tell everybody you're a midget. So he was like, I'm writing up a halfling, and my whole group looked and goes, "You're not playing with us." I'm making a gnome. You're not playing with us. And somebody was like, I'm making an elven wizard. I was like, okay. And they're like, crop yours. He's like, no, my elf is proud to be an elf.
That was even one of the cooler things about was it Lord Soth, because Lord Soth was just like he was just such a BA that he just like he took over one of the realms.
I've got both Knight of the Black Rose and was it Shadow of the Black Rose. I've got.
You know how he got out of Ravenloft, don't you?
He never did.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He got out by sulking. He refused to get off his throne and just listen to them sing and sulk. And
you're right, he did.
And the Dark Powers went, you know what? Get out.
It's like, you're no
They're
fun.
like, you're boring. Get out of here.
Yeah, and you know why that was done?
That's how you beat him. You get boring.
It was done because they were rebooting Dragonlance and they wanted Lord Soth back in. And the creators of Lord Soth didn't like how Wizards was treating him.
Well, Soth's like the ultimate pimp, and he's the Boba Fett of that world.
Hey guys, excuse me for a minute. I have to go get more alcohol.
Okay.
Wasn't he like a lich, blackguard, everything?
No, he was a Death Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of what they were.
Yeah, he was badass, and then they had the only good Kender in Sithicus.
Yes.
And that's Vampire Kender.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only good Kender. I hate Kender. Actually, no, I don't hate Kender. I hate the people that wanted to play him.
Yeah.
It's my character to fuck over the party, tee-hee-hee. It's the party's character to yeet you over the wall with a catapult.
You just made halflings even more annoying. Thank you. Okay.
I mean, I do halflings pretty interesting in my world. Halflings are caravaniers that, thanks to magic and the weird tech levels of D&D, stay on the road all their lives. And that's why the major empires have huge highways, is so that these 800-900 wagon long caravans that, some of the caravans are like the old Romani wagons, can just keep going by, bringing around goods, services, trade news, which really made halflings more interesting because most people don't know what to do with halflings. And then I gave the gnomes the oceans, so you'll see huge armadas out there entirely crewed by gnomes.
That's kind of scary.
Well, it's perfect. It's perfect for them because pulleys and everything overcome their strength disadvantage. And being so small, it doesn't require as much rations and fresh water plus magic as it would for humans. So their cargo ships can carry tons more and go farther than human ones. And their god gave them the oceans.
That makes absolute sense, especially because I know ships are cramped and small, and space is at a premium. So if you're already small people, perfect.
Yeah, on my setting, there's gnomes who have never stepped foot off of a ship, who've never been on dry land, who've never even been so much on a dock. And then, you have the river ones, and then kobolds. Kobolds are kind of funny because kobolds are kobolds, and they live in like Pueblo cliff dwellings and stuff like that. But there's always this kobold. You'll be journeying through, and you'll see a kobold, and he's got a kayak, and he's upside down, and he's paddling for all his worth, and he's about 600 feet off the ground because he is a terrible boat maker and a terrible sailor. And every time I play with the players get so used to that, they look and go, look, he's back. And he's just paddling away.
Heard of that? There's an old module. It was like, purportedly it was made by like an ex-military guy. And it was like a challenge because this one guy's, everybody's saying like, kobolds are too easy because in
Tucker's kobolds.
In AD&D original, it was like, they had like a quarter hit points or half or something.
No, quarter hit die.
Yeah. And they were really, really weak. So it was like all these kobolds, but they made traps.
Yes.
And they would poke you from the walls.
Tucker's kobolds.
Set you on fire, all this other kind of crap. It was horrible.
My players hated kobolds and goblins in the jungle, in the forest, or in the caves because they had this thing. They had this invention where their invention was like a funnel. And the fighter would be going by and they'd stick the funnel down and pour fire ants in it. So now the fighter has armor full of fire ants. Because they can't win in a straight up fight.
Yeah.
That was actually one of the well, not ants, but there was a weapon for the Middle Eastern wannabe 2nd edition thing. I can't remember what it was called.
Al-Qadim.
Al-Qadim. They had one of the ways that they would fight, because a lot of them, because they're in the sun and everything, they wore clothes, right? They just wore like linen.
Yeah.
And the way they would fight people with armor is they had trebuchets of hot sand.
Yeah.
And the rule was the hot sand would basically if it hit you, there's a certain percentage of it went under your armor.
Yes.
And depending on
red
how
hot
much
sand.
percentage went under the armor, like you had so many rounds to get it off before your skin started peeling.
Red hot sand. That was actually done by Saladin.
So we're talking like Turkish. We're talking Turkish coffee, red hot sand.
Yeah.
You've seen how they make? Oh fuck me, that ooh. Oh man.
Yeah, and the thing is this new OGL. Getting back to that, it actually, you read it and you're like, well, there goes all the innovation and there goes all the creativity, because they want you to play things like Strixhaven, which is like the Harry Potter Hogwarts without the fun.
That utterly gay thing.
They want you to play their way, which is
and that's the whole thing. They want you to play their way. They can't stand the idea of you playing your way.
Yeah, well, like we're saying, like they would not play Ravenloft because you lose.
No, they ruined Ravenloft. They watered it down. They got rid of the horror checks. They got rid of the fear checks. They got rid of the madness checks. They got rid of the dark powers checks. They got rid of the spells being altered. They got rid of abilities being altered in the name of player empowerment. And that was the thing about Ravenloft, is it was new and different because it was a player.
So they turned Ravenloft into one of those dweeby, pre-gothic industrial clubs.
Yeah, generic goth dance hall number 7.
It's a Hot Topic,
Yeah, like if Strahd worked at Hot Topic.
I actually have a question for all of you guys, since you have either worked in the industry or you've played a lot, since obviously I haven't played as much as the 4 of you. What do you think can happen to fix this? Well, when I say fix this, I mean the mainstream stuff is all fucked already. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get it back. What do you think you could do to save TTRPG? Because right now it seems like Hasbro, and not just Hasbro, but it's like you have these people in charge that are literally, as Ralt said earlier, in for the cash and don't give a fuck about the actual fan base. How would you guys go about fixing this? And I don't know if this is more of a writer's room question, but it's just a question that I have, because you guys have a shit ton of experience, and I feel like the hobby's going to die because these assholes are coming and ruining it.
I don't think it's going to die, but I think it's going to
die. What's going to happen is it's going to split. And the problem with splitting is that Splinter, it's harder to get marketing and to grow from splintered formations. And so that's the problem. That's really the issue, is that, and it's the same thing comics ran into, honestly. That's the reason why comics are dying right now, is because you had a diaspora. There were too many comics, and there were a bunch of different, there were actors that really didn't care about comics and the genuine nature of them. So then you had generations of people that grew up without heroes, and now they don't care. Okay. And it's the same thing, is that you've had a kind of a slow build for role playing, but then it got a big boom because of, basically because pretty people played it, honestly. Because you had pretty people Critical Role and a few others, that were actors and those kind of things, came in and started playing the game. You see them all they're almost like OnlyFans models. Actually, there was one ex OnlyFans model that they kicked out when they found out she did porn.
And who cares? Who gives a damn?
Because she did porn. Big fucking deal.
They
used to hear it. You used to hear it all the time. We don't need that stuff in our hobby. Well, it's not your hobby. It's mine too.
Yeah,
Diamond.
Really, I think it was Diamond Satine or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, but she's coming back. But she was bigger, and they sort of kicked her out of the hobby for a while because they just didn't approve of her. And they all, I don't know, there's all these purity tests that they want to do, and they don't realize. I guess they're too stupid to understand that all that does is decrease your marketing. All that does is make you weaker. Well, and as far as somebody like Critical Role is going to make their own game. That's all. That's
or they're just going to go back to Pathfinder, which was what they were originally playing.
I think they're just gonna. I think the reason why I think that is because Mercer is making a lot of like he's liked a lot of comments and retweeted and a bunch of junk that's had to do with like going and breaking off from the OGL and making your own thing. And he's already like he's really well known for like making supplements and game settings and everything else. I think he's just gonna make his own game. He's gonna make his own system.
Mercer already has his own fan base because of anime too, so they'll follow him wherever he goes. So
Exactly.
I think Critical Role might be okay. It's more the minor channels I'm feeling sorry for. Oh, and Trenton, if you ever run a Dark Heresy game, I have the book. I will play it with you. I have Dark Heresy.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is that like maybe these smaller channels are like they may suffer because they can't use the new license, but they can still, as far as I understand, they can still use the old license because it's supposed to be in perpetuity. They won't be able to use D&D 6.0, but who gives a damn? It's going to be boring anyway. Who the hell wants to play a like a homogenized, pasteurized, diluted version of Imagination anyway?
Yeah. And I'm gonna say something. I found out something. A lot of these people that are the loudest. It's one of the reasons why eventually I left all the tabletop RPG forums because the people that took over were terrible. But a lot of these people have little to no imagination. And the other thing is you get these people that are like, oh, fighters shouldn't be able to do anything because it's anime. And I talked about this with Ishi and Kat and Janelle when we were doing our characters up. That in the old stories, heroes used to wrestle rivers.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a Native American story about two warriors who were fighting over a woman, and they were throwing flaming arrows back and forth. And you know what the story was based off of? Two volcanoes that were going off at the same time.
Hey.
You need to have stuff like that. And but what gets me is the same people are like, oh, you shouldn't have warriors being able to swing their sword 3 times in 15 seconds. That's unrealistic. And then you look at their character and it's some mage bobbing along the landscape like a balloon farting out rainbows.
I remember listening to I think it was like some guy talk about how it was unrealistic already for the most realistic depiction of the time of like Nolan-esque Batman.
Yeah.
And he was trying to make everything make sense. And
why?
Like sort of a postmodern approach to it, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's the way it should be," and da da da. And I'm like, "No, I want fantasy Batman.
Yes.
I don't want realistic Batman." Because you're going to take this shit and go to a multiple, go extremely in the other direction of realism and make it stupid, like you are now. I don't think you can swing this. I don't think you could kick this way. No, a monk cannot run up a wall, but I like it, so shut up.
Yeah, I love it.
Postmodernism, honestly, I think is what ruined popular culture today. It destroyed everything.
Absolutely.
Like,
What's
going
so
back and looking
stupid?
at all the superhero movies and the comic books, I don't give a fuck if it has to be realistic. I don't want it to be realistic. I want Wolverine back in the yellow spandex.
Yes.
Chicks ruined it all. I'm just gonna say right now,
I
chicks
fucking
ruined
hate
it all.
postmodernism. We can do a whole show of me going off for like 2 fucking hours about why postmodernism is fucking cancer, but we won't do that tonight. I want to focus.
No, I want to hear the whole thought here from Kat, because if you could see the expression burning on her eyes.
All right, go for it.
All right, I can feel it digitally, so please, Kat.
I agree about the postmodernism. I definitely think that's a huge chunk of it. But let's face it, the death of all of our favorite hobbies, video games, actual fiction, now RPG, tabletop RPGs, it's chicks, not female geeks who are in it because they love it. No, I mean chicks, people like Felicia Day. The second, not only were they let in, but they were given a voice and told that their opinion matters. That's when it started going downhill, and that's when it started going, to shit. And now they're like, all these different companies, they're like, well, chicks are dumping all this money on shit like Twilight. We want that sweet, sweet Twilight money too. So we're going to start making games that appeal to that audience. And it's like, you know what? That's part of the problem.
Well, shit. I mean, when Kathleen Kennedy took over Star Wars, the inside memos at Disney, she was, I want to have the new trilogy focused more on the Twilight crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things, but I think the big death keel was letting them have a voice.
Yeah, letting them have a voice and letting them have a say in how things are done.
Mm-hmm.
that one of the things, since I was late to the show, Steve and I started watching Picard. And that show is a
God,
fucking
why do you hurt yourself?
Yeah.
Because we got drunk and thought it would be funny.
There are other things you can be a masochist
No.
on.
Unfortunately,
it's a clam bake, guys. The whole fucking show is a clam bake. There's no sausage in that show.
A clam bake. I love that.
The woke people are so awful that they don't even make bad good stuff.
No, it's the fact that they make commentary on themselves and don't realize it.
It's so bad. They're so bad it's good. Never happens with anything they do. It's pain.
Oh yeah. No.
Have you seen some of the new stuff? Like what is it, Willow?
Oh my God! I will not touch that show at the 10.
I won't touch it.
It was an insult.
I read the first book that is supposedly based on, and I hated that character. I hated how Saoirse and Mad Mortigan died, and that immediately just went no. And then being introduced to that fucking character, I felt so bad for fucking Willow for being saddled with such a fucking bitch. It's like no, I didn't even.
I thought he
was sidelined in his own fucking show.
Yeah,
it was like George Lucas and Claremont. So I was like, this has got to be good, right?
No, he got cucked in the books 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And now they've woked it even more. It's like, fuck no. I'm not even touching that shit.
No, the show follows a lesbian couple and Willow shows up now and then.
Yeah, I've seen like I said, I didn't even watch it. I just saw the reviews of it, and I'm like, okay, this looks like crap. This looks like about how bad I thought it would be, so never mind.
Exactly. Good man. Go with that instinct.
Yana, my husband and I have this thing where we like to torture ourselves to hate watch and mock shit, and that's where this whole Picard thing came from.
I get this horrible image in my mind of the two of you like dressed up in BDSM leather, whipping yourselves in front of the TV.
Look,
right, and then they get done, and they have to like, I don't know, watch something they actually enjoy. Yeah.
I am going to put a bar on all of this. When the 99 2000 Dungeons and Dragons movie is
that movie was great, and I'll fight you over it.
What?
That movie was great, and I'll fight you over it.
I saw it in costume. Beat me on that.
I just, I wish they'd have just gone with the true like swords and sorcery, Doyle-esque kind of thing. I mean, just go with it. You know what I mean? Like, give us some titty. Let Irons do something more than chew up scenery.
No. I want.
Jeremy Irons was the best part of that movie.
If I'm hiring Jerry Irons and he doesn't fucking chew up the scenery, I'm suing him for breach of contract.
No, I mean, I just want him to do more than that. You watch him in that, and you watch him in something like Margin Call. Where he's just so brilliant, and he's just such a devastatingly psychopathic banker, and I'm like,
I thought it was a good movie. Okay. I had fun with it. It was exactly what was on the tin, and I was fine with that. The second one was even better.
I actually never saw the second.
You don't like the new one coming up?
I just like
Bard played by Chris Pine.
No. We're talking about the second one they put out.
I didn't know there was a second one.
Yeah, there was. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them now. The second one, I think it had a barbarian chick, if I remember right.
It was pretty good. I liked it. It had a good plot. It had, they dropped some names, like they dropped.
There were meaningful deaths and stuff.
Yeah. They dropped the name of the Tower of Inverness. Dude got White Dragon breathed on a dude and he froze and fell apart. I mean, I was down with it.
One of the biggest things is in the second one they didn't confine the story to fit the rules of the game.
No, they just went, we're gonna make a D&D movie. It has magic, and here's this hot chick we're gonna put in a coffin and burn alive.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
Going back to the first movie, I must say one of the most underrated parts of that movie was Richard O'Brien as the head of the Thieves Guild.
Yeah.
Yes. He was absolutely. It was him as head of the Thieves Guild and Tom Baker as the Elven Healer.
I love the dwarf.
Right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was both of those things that blew my mind.
You just grab her beard and hold on for dear life.
See, that movie, no matter what you think of it, you love it, hate it, whatever, had more heart and was more true than any of the shit that's coming out now.
I'll watch something with heart. I mean, I have watched Bloody Heroes maybe 20 times. I have watched some really crappy movies that were made with heart because they were a hell of a lot better than the stuff they're trying to hand me now.
Mm-hmm.
I was just disappointed they didn't get on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And if you catch that reference,
I will beat you with a fucking shoe. I hated that show. I hated that unicorn with. You know what I hated more than the unicorn? I hated the blonde kid with the club more than I hated the unicorn.
I don't know. I kind of liked it, but I didn't. I think I only saw like 2 episodes.
I think I was 5.
Okay, I'm going to show my age here. I saw an episode on Sunday morning cartoons. I was about 6. And then, like, the next day, my mom came to me and said, okay, honey, I'm going to be playing a game on the weekends with some friends. Oh, what game, Mom? It's called Dungeons and Dragons. And just the look of shock on her face when I, like, jumped straight up in the air, I went, I know what that is. And it's like, that's so cool, Mom. What are you going to play?
Oh, God, I feel left out of the club. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
I watched that cartoon, and
there was a cartoon called, I think it was called Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
It was. And
yeah.
The Dungeon Master was this wizard,
where these
and he,
kids
like,
went into a roller coaster, or like a I don't know, it was like a
carnival.
It was just a
coaster.
ride. It was just a carnival ride, and
like a tunnel of love.
Yeah,
kind of
thing, but not water. It was a rail system, and they went through and they got isekai'd into a dungeon. And there was like the dungeon master. He was like a orca looking dude without the hat.
I hated him too.
He gave them all magical items, which turned them into very specific classes, and they had to fight Tiamat.
There he is.
And this weird devil guy.
I couldn't stand. In order of hatred, it went the blonde kid, the unicorn, the dungeon master.
Wow, the unicorn wasn't number 1.
Well,
no, the blonde kid.
I was very young when I saw it.
I hated that blonde kid. I don't know why. I was a teenager, and I hated him with a passion. And I hated the unicorn, too.
Janelle?
Yeah, no, I'm here. Oh,
it's
Riffraff. It's Riffraff.
Have you guys? Have you guys seen?
Sorry, no, I was looking up the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen
they
that?
Actually made a little golden book out of it, guys.
Well, they got a Brazilian live action commercial that looks awesome.
There we go.
Look at Bruce Payne with those blue lips.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
He was amazing.
I'm Dabadar.
He was awesome in that.
Yes, he was.
I
Where's his
think
hand?
Both of those dudes are asleep.
His hand is on her tit. We all know that.
No, his hand, he's holding onto her arm.
I know, but it looks. Come on, let me have a fantasy.
It looks to me like he's got a finger on the nipple there.
Yeah, it does. It really does look like it.
Oh God, I was watching some movie and they didn't redo the shot. The star grabbed this girl and lifts her up, in a headlock, and he grabs her boob. It was a horror movie. I think it was a Friday the 13th one, and he grabs a big handful of her boob and then moves his hand real quick.
I think I know what you're talking about.
This was a great movie. I mean, I watched it. I watched it expecting it to be absolute shit, and instead it was actually fun.
I used to have it on DVD. It did not make it in one of the movies.
That was the coolest trap ever.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I have used that trap more than once, and to see it in film was so cool.
Well, it was perfect. It's like we've all been there. We've all been. The only thing that this movie missed was a mimic.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would have been awesome if they opened a mimic.
Yeah, that's the only thing I wish that it had. But still, it had. You could tell people involved actually played.
See, it doesn't matter how cheesy this film was. It was enjoyable.
Yeah,
yes.
That's the difference.
Well, Anime Acid Trip, he wasn't wearing lipstick. He wasn't wearing lipstick. His people had blue lips. He wasn't wearing lipstick. His people had blue lips.
Mm-hmm.
What was the creature that Jeremy Irons put in his ears that forced him under his control? I can't remember what the creature was.
I have looked through it, and I have never been able to find it in the DMG, so I made it myself. I mean, the Monster Manual, so I made it myself.
Because when I saw that in the theater, I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm having flashbacks to Wrath of Khan."
Okay, I will say I am that dork who was looking at the breastplate that the elf chick was wearing.
There we go. Thinking, there we go.
You know, man, this girl's so gonna kill herself if she falls down.
The deleted scenes would have made it much better. I would have loved to have seen the scene where they got sucked into the map and had to deal with the Wraith.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Agreed.
And I love when
didn't this have like Thora Birch controlling dragons or something?
Yeah. She was the good guy queen that controlled the gold dragons.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was watching for.
And I was impressed that they got that right. You know, gold dragons are good, red dragons are bad. You know, I mean, it's the little things. See that cure out there. She is so going to kill herself falling down.
When Thora Birch had that movie where she was like opposite James Spader, like she was his daughter, but she was showing her breasts to the neighbor across the street.
Yeah.
And so everybody was like, "Where are her boobs?"
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if she's bending over, that thing is gonna shuck out her vagina like somebody shucking out an oyster.
Exactly.
Well, I was going to say, if you hit her in the chest with the fucking mace, her chest would cave in. I can't... Okay, I like boob armor when it's appropriate and it's cheesecake, but if we're going for realistic, no.
Well, the
I
fact
can't.
is, a cuirass really should be made of leather.
Yeah, not metal.
Or a really hard hide.
That form-fitting,
No, the cuirass, to work functionally, cannot be hard. It needs to be...
I don't know, maybe like she just takes it off in an instant and it's like a shield with eyes, you know?
It's enchanted.
It's enchanted.
And I like how they really work to make her seem like the child empress and not very sexy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That really disappointed me, in fact.
Like I said, where are boobs? You know?
You know, I at that age, I had it really bad for her, but...
At Thora?
Oh, fuck yeah.
I'm also going to say, spoiler alert,
there we go.
anybody who hasn't seen this
that
movie.
Yeah.
I actually shed some tears when Snails died. I was fucking mad.
You know,
yeah.
That, and they did it well.
Yes.
You got to know him. He was kind of a dork, but he was still lovable, and his death actually had meaning.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did it and the movie ends with all of them at his grave. They don't forget him.
Yeah.
And you know what everyone said at the end of the film? No, that's when you take him back to town and get him resurrected.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yes, that's what we argued about after the movie.
Yeah.
If you remember the end of the movie, his name was erased off the stone, which was supposed to be a thing into he got resurrected.
Oh
yes.
Yeah, I do remember that.
No, I remember that because everybody got excited in the theater and thought the sequel was going to be coming and everybody was going to go on the adventure to find Snails, and then that didn't happen.
Yeah, there was some serious fuckery in the background because the original scriptwriter and the other script writers didn't get along, and it didn't match the new vision because Wizards had a shakeup, and oh god,
Wizards is just a clusterfuck from the get-go.
Well, when I went up there, because you know I applied for a job with them because I live nearby. I was like, you know what, maybe I'll move up to Seattle, and I go up there for my job interview, and I'm up there, you know, and I'm looking nice. I got pressed pants, you know, I shine my combat boots, you know, I look good, and there's people literally wearing Star Trek uniforms.
Oh shit!
To a job interview.
Wow.
And I went in, and they're like, "So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?" I said, "Are you actually thinking about hiring these people in Star Trek uniforms?" Like, well, we look at their credentials and everything. And I said, "Then I don't see myself with this company at all. Good day, sir," and walked out. Go fuck yourself. Because you know what? Somebody in the FBI said this. Somebody in the FBI said that not all child molesters have Star Trek uniforms in their closets, but everybody they found with a Star Trek uniform in their closet was a child molester.
Oh god, that's terrifying.
Oh, I am so frightened by that.
That freaked me out.
I mean,
remember when they said that in like 2006?
I'm disturbed, but I also I don't want to say I don't doubt that.
I mean, but going to a job interview wearing.
So are you saying that the old Star Trek are the new furries?
Yes.
Actually, I was going to say are the new people dressing as Pennywise.
I mean, it was, and to me, it was just, I showed up there to be professional because, I had.
Wolf's like, damn. He feels seen.
Wow.
I mean, I showed up. I was all professional, I was like, I got this to bring in. I got this to bring in. I actually got letters of recommendation.
You just ruined Star Trek conventions for me now. I'm disturbed.
Well, I just keep thinking of the couple that ran Starfleet Dental.
Yes.
And the fact that, what was it? The woman who played Yar.
Oh, yeah.
Tasha
Denise
Yar?
Crosby.
Yeah, was interviewing him. And she was jokingly, she asked this, it was this couple. They had an entire Starfleet.
Starfleet Dental was the Something Awful group.
And the whole thing, it was themed Star Trek. And it came up, well, do you do this in the bedroom? He says, well, yeah, we do that. And she asked the wife, do you ever dress up as me? Well, sometimes he does. And she gets this look on her face that's just like, kill me now.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh man.
That was what, Trekkers or Trekkies?
Trekkies.
That was the documentary.
Oh.
And the look on her face was amazing. On the other hand, she also sat down with Brent Spinnard, and they were looking at the fan mail they'd gotten where people had drawn illustrations of the two of them going at it.
Yes.
And she got really uncomfortable, and he's like, the thing that gets me about this is his physique here. That's really what I look like. And I really look that good.
Brent Spiner is just cool, and he doesn't take himself seriously, or at least not anymore.
It gets me that I've never been naked on screen, but yet they know exactly my size. And
see, that's how you deal with that stuff. Oh God, I had such a bad reputation when I was in RPG publishing that one of the fanzines had a comic, and had been running for about 3 years, and somebody asked me, hey, can I use you as a guest person? I'm like, yeah. And I actually got used, and it was funnier than shit, because it was basically, does anybody going to pick up Ross at the airport? And yeah, we said so-and-so. You sent our drunken slut friend to pick up him? And my character never showed up in the strip. And the other characters showed up all disheveled. They're like, I thought you went to pick him up. What happened? And she goes, well, I went to pick him up, and then we had drinks at the airport bar, and then I was here.
How did I get here?
I had a terrible reputation. Totally undeserved. But yeah, I mean, the OGL... Allegedly. Yeah. The OGL 1.1, all it's going to do is stop creativity.
Yeah. Or no, it won't. It won't. It just means the creativity won't be in D&D.
Yeah,
you won't be able to call your creativity Dungeons and Dragons without giving license to WotC to take it. That's really the end of it, And so, like, Janelle was saying, how do you stop that, or you play? That's
one of the Wizards meetings that I attended, it was a bunch of Wizards creators, and there was a lawyer or two there, and I was there. And I actually said something that pissed everybody off. I was like, you really got to give the players a reason to buy your stuff, because all somebody needs to play is the Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Monster Manual. And after that, they don't need you.
Nope.
You have to stop asking, how do we make the customers, but rather, what can we give the customers? Holy shit, you would have thought I threw a grenade. I mean, I got yelled at, and I was like, don't you yell at me, fatso. And they forgot this. And, Wizards of the Coast, well, actually not Wizards. I don't know about Wizards, but I will say Hasbro definitely takes the consumer for granted, that the money just comes from the money fairy.
Oh, that's totally true.
Look, Hasbro owns controlling his interest in Games Workshop, and look what Games Workshop did to their fan base last year. Think about that. So, I mean, I think Games Workshop...
It was a test run.
Games Workshop was the test run, and everybody blamed it on Disney because Games Workshop had a contract with Marvel to do their comics, so they thought, because Disney is so, anal about fan work and all that shit. It was Hasbro the whole time. And I think that Warhammer 40K was the test run.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody who knows, like if you go look at like Hasbro's history with toys and stuff, they've always done this.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the fun thing, you're bringing up Disney, and I actually find it very interesting watching how Disney is handling fans with Star Wars, because Lucas's rule had always been, as long as you're not selling it, I don't care. And in fact, here's the sound library. You can use the lightsabers, you can use the blasters, you can use the Millennium Falcon engines, you can use all of that. I don't care. As long as you're not selling it, have fun.
He knew that it generated money for him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, real quickly, just want to throw this out here. Here's the people running Hasbro, and we see Karen down here.
Wait,
but
Chris
the
Cox?
CEO is named Cox. The guy's a fucking cock. I mean, okay, there we go. And he looks like a cock. Look at him.
Yeah.
I'm out back having a cigarette, but anybody with the name Chris Cox, gargles them regularly.
No,
look at this
Ralph,
dude,
it's spelled Cocks.
Yes, it is. He is
Dude, change your name.
It only would have been better if his first name was Peter.
Actually,
instead.
kind of interestingly, the one black employee, Naj Atkinson, is the executive vice president and chief people officer.
What the fuck is
what the fuck is a people officer?
It means they're in charge of HR.
I know, but it's why not?
You know what it means? HR? It means they're one of those people that doesn't actually have the degree to have that job, so they give them a fucking title that doesn't exist because they are a butt in a chair. They're a trust and safety commission, somebody that's been trained by Marxism and learned how to gossip all day and I don't know, eliminate problematic
I don't know. He's person management, and I'm gonna say that this guy probably has the worst job in Hasbro.
Well, wait.
Well,
go to Catherine Bellevaux, though, guys. What's a chief purpose officer? Is that fucking quality control? Can't they just call it quality control?
That's a good question.
Well, I kind of like that Deborah here has crazy eyes, and she's the financial officer.
Chief purpose officer.
You know
sounds like somebody that keeps everybody on the straight and narrow.
They want a title that sounds like nobility. They want a title that sounds like nobility or something like everybody has to be a king. So they're a chief something instead of just executive vice president of something. They're all a chief of something.
I gotta read this. As chief purpose officer of Hasbro Inc., Catherine Bellevue advances Hasbro's purpose to make the world a better place for all children, fans, and families, and expands the positive impact of Hasbro uniquely can make. All one sentence.
You make toys. You make toys.
Not yet.
Oh.
There's responsibilities include government regulation, global communication, sustainability, corporate social responsibility, ethical sourcing, philanthropy, and social impact.
Jesus.
You make toys.
Okay. Hold on. Her undergraduate is a law degree from Boston College.
There it is.
The fuck does that have to do with toys?
Wait, a magna cum laude and Phi Beta Kappa graduate
of Wellesley. That's the feminist.
Oh, God.
Catherine's a member of the Wellesley Business Leadership Council. She also holds a law degree from Boston College.
What did I say?
And Catherine serves on the board of several nonprofits, including the Toy Association and Europe.
So you notice that most of these bitches... I'm sorry, I'm really shit-faced right now. So they bitches and cunts come from places like Wellesley, Vassar. You know what? I agree with Fair Maiden. We should have never gotten the right to vote, and they should have never taught us to read.
Well, here's the thing, this company is talking about how they, as Hasbro, need to teach people how to act better. Bitch, you make toys. Okay. The only difference between you and a dildo manufacturer is yours is safe to put on the shelf.
Oh God. Okay. That just gave me an image of something I saw this weekend. Totally off topic. I saw a fleshlight that was based on KFC where the vagina was chicken wings and the lube looked like gravy. Please don't ask me how I saw that.
No.
I saw a picture of someone that found a Pikachu butt plug in the toy box at Goodwill.
Oh my god!
That's great.
Oh, did they get it? Did they
It was
get it? I would totally
there was
buy
this
it.
like Twitter going
Did they
around
get
where
it?
there was this lady that was like massaging her neck with a dolphin,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
and like she got caught at the end, and her face is like, "What?"
She makes me want to eat white phosphorus. So fun.
Yeah. Come on, back inside. Come on, back inside. Come on. Come on.
Wow.
I mean, they're all feminists. The guys even a feminist.
They need some KFC in their life.
Oh my god! You know what? And you
I
know
think
the
Chris
thing with the
Cox has
Japanese
too much
and
protein. That guy
KFC,
needs
right?
some
That porch. Oh wait, here she is. Nope, that's Summer.
It was a fucking flashlight though, and it was in KFC packaging.
Oh my god.
You know, that just reminds me of the dildo that looks like a xenomorph.
Yes. Okay, I would have that, not to use it, but just to make people uncomfortable. Put it next to all my other xenomorph shit. You know,
it's
in
my
woman
very well
cave.
sculpted. It actually is very well sculpted. I just it's in the way that it's like a Geiger painting where Geiger painting where you know, it's beautiful and terrifying at the same time.
I have no opinion.
And she's like, I just want y'all to know, I don't have an opinion. I mean, they got that whole like, was it Bad Dragon Sex Company where you can get appendages.
Yeah. Well, don't forget there was a woman on the BBC. She was being interviewed, and she had a dildo on the bookshelf behind her.
Yeah, I remember that.
That shit was funnier now.
She's like, oops.
And it's not a little one either. It's
no,
like,
it was huge.
It's like, what was wrong with your human vagina?
Okay, I did find the KFC one, but I found something else that I'm going to share, and I can share it because it is safe unless you know what you are looking at. So I'm going to put it up on the screen because Ishi walked out of the room, and we are going to see who knows what it is I just found.
No, did I make him upset about KFC?
No. I
Oh
just
my
stepped out
god.
for a minute.
Oh. Oh no. Oh no.
I don't know. I think I might have had enough for the evening.
Thomas has left for the day because he's seen everything.
Yes.
That actually kind of breaks my heart as a parent.
Those eyes have
soul crushing.
Those eyes have
So
seen
you
too much.
pulled the train back into you, and
That day, Thomas ran into a very, very long log.
Oh man! Oh,
okay, I will take it away, but
It gives a whole new meaning to Thomas being the cheeky one.
Yeah. I did find the KFC fleshlight, but for some strange reason, that search pulled up the Thomas, and it's like I need to share. Oh my god!
Geez.
Did you know that the KFC one, the Colonel is wearing a baseball cap backwards?
Welcome to 1994.
Yes. Are you going to show it?
Yeah, why the hell not?
Chrome tab. There it is. There it is. There.
Oh, I'm gonna regret this, aren't I?
Probably.
Oh, that's the one.
God, that looks disgusting.
Yeah, it certainly does.
I finger licking good is just wrong.
That does not look like Kentucky Fried Chicken. It looks like diarrhea.
I've done some things I'm not proud of, but even I draw the line there.
And that hole is kind of small. What the hell are we making that for?
Butt gravy?
Damn.
Your tongue?
I mean, like I said, I've made some bad decisions and woken up and wanted to chew my arm off and climb out the window, but, you know, I draw the line.
Wait, so you've actually had a Coyote Ugly incident?
Oh, more than once. Woke up and been like, holy fuck.
What do they call it? What do the New Jersey people rename that? Grenades.
Yeah. Just be like, yep, it was a coyote weekend. How bad was it? I would have lost both arms.
I woke up. No, I've never had a Coyote Ugly incident. I did wake up with my girlfriend's friend one time.
Oh shit!
Whoops.
It was really weird because it was like they had a girls' night out, and I was like, fine. In San Antonio, they have this weird thing where these like mole crickets, like once a season, come out for some reason, and they're freaking everywhere. It's like walking on, it's like walking on just a mobile carpet that cracks and pops. And
I'm reminded of a Temple of Doom with Short Round saying feels like fortune cookies.
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird. I felt like, that guy in what is it? Oh God, Hank Hill. His neighbor that like is always killing bugs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dale, I think.
Dale.
Is it?
They're Dale Gribble.
Yeah.
Randy
So I mean, but anyway,
Shackelford.
so I went up to this like taqueria, this late night taqueria to pick them up because one of the friends was like throwing up and she was sick. So I was like, okay, I'll take you home. And then I got drunk there with her and my girlfriend, and then they were all like, okay, let's go home. And I'm like, yeah, let's go home. So she was like, well, I don't feel like going home. I'm too tired. So she spent the night at our house. But I don't know how I woke up with her and my girlfriend was in the other room, the guest room.
Wow.
Did you end up paying for it, or was it just kind of politely swept under the rug and never mentioned again?
Oh shit!
You paid for that shit.
It was a weird sort of thing. It was like I woke up and it was like, oh, hi, and she went hi, and neither one of us knew what to say. It was one of those like, did we not?
Did at least one of you wear clothes?
No, we were both naked. But I still.
Oh no! So, oh no!
So it was just like, did you do it? I don't know. Okay, I was like, I'm gonna put my clothes on now. And so I just rolled over. I was like, what else do I do? I'm gonna make breakfast. So I started.
There you go.
Well,
that's all you can do.
We're rapidly approaching Kat's bedtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this has actually been a great show.
Oh wait, I have one more thing that I want to. This is what I was originally going to bring up tonight, just as an icebreaker. Today, I found out that Rod Stewart did cocaine up his butt because he didn't want to ruin his singing voice. I thought that would be a great icebreaker for the show, but we'll end it on that tonight, guys.
That's
you actually absorb it better that way.
Yeah. I know. I was thinking it was butt chugging.
There's one more thing. We're gonna do D&D this weekend.
Yes.
Oh, we are?
Pathfinder.
Yes.
We're gonna do Pathfinder this weekend.
You guys have to tell me the times though, because I have a Kung Fu seminar Saturday and Sunday.
I have no idea.
I need to know too, because I have traffic school.
Yeah, I'm learning how to kill people with a new weapon.
Seminar makes me feel like you're doing like it's like Kung Fu singing,
No. This is like how to fight, how to street fight, and how to use new weapons.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. No, this isn't a musical, I promise.
So what time are we looking
Everybody
at?
was Kung Fu.
I don't get up till like 2 p.m, so probably I'll let you guys know. It'll probably be like 3-4 my time before I'm even on. But yeah, it'll be she'll be streaming. Maybe Ramen will be streaming. I don't stream because I got a lot of stuff in the background going on that I don't want somebody over there going, oh, he's looking at the goblin section.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, everyone.
Yeah.
It was great to have Buddy on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely great.
Too long.
It's been way too long.
So
Coming up.
I just want to shake some sense into you kids.